Hey everybody, Matt Monster here, back with Marvel Heroes. This time we got Cyclops on board, and they keep changing them around, and finally we're gonna, got enough changes here, and do another video, except it's kind of odd because I'm just going back to a older build and switching a passive around, because now instead of the explosive blast having a dot, now the dot is part of a passive, so we're just going to go to the passive, and we're going to go back to the former face blasting, area affecting, lasering Cyclops that I used to love anyways. So, calling the build Slim, everybody else calls it Optic Devastation and all kinds of barrages and everything else. But it is Channeled Blast and Optic Barrage based, obviously. Channeled Blast is our little wiggle skill that we kill off all the trash little mobs, white and probably the blues too, if there's enough of them out there. Any yellows that hang around and bosses, we're going to burn down with Optic Barrage. As you can see, it fires really, really fast at a really high rate of spirit for a lot of damage. So we're going to maximize that. And we're going to maximize that with Concussive Force. Getting a lot of energy damage out of this. That's a lot of energy damage rating. That's up there. So we're loving that. And we're going to back it up with some Uncanny Focus, so we get some dodge, and if we dodge, we restore some spirit. And, supporting some factors of actually going for spirit with some artifacts. I'll get into gear in a second here. And of course, the ever-popular passive that I was speaking of, Precision Combat. This is giving you a chance. It's always going to be a 20% chance, unfortunately. But the dot damage goes up, and you get more spirit with enemy defeated, and that's really what we're looking for, plus the spirit cost reduction. And that damage, I mean, I got 20 points into it. I think on average people were hitting 30, and that was like around 25% chance to apply the dot. And that's good enough. And then I go with Defensive Tactician. I'm going with this because, well, we need to dodge. We need to dodge more to get that spirit going back in, so we can keep barraging and staying alive with the boss than anything. Even though it's only 50% damage now, it's now giving us some spirit. So it's got a built-in PIMs working on there. You can throw a PIM on there too for extra spirit if you wanted to. Now you don't need to. It's kind of nice that way. And that leaves you with some extra points. I put a point into Ricochet Blast. I have some gear that really boosts it up, so I don't have to put any points in there. And really, you're only looking to use that when you're out of spirit anyways. So it's a backup. Rallying Command, you can put a point in there so you can break free of any kind of CCs you get hit by. It's kind of nice. And Martial Arts, it's free defense rating. You shouldn't be using any melee powers with this, although this might be flagged as melee, so hey, you get a little extra damage rating on your combat roll. I'm going to use combat roll. Some people actually like this side roll thing. I hate it. Not for me. I use the combat roll. And you could put 1 point in Veteran Command. Something on a 2-minute cooldown, I'm not going to use that. Tactical Command, you can put a point in there for 10% damage and 10% less damage for 8 seconds. Honestly, I'm not going to do that either. It's just not in me to hit the button for 10%. So I'll just put that in there. If at 60 you had points left over, you could probably just dumping them into Ricochet Blast. And then to set it all up, obviously I'm going to put Ricochet Blast over here. I'm going to put my movement skill over here. I can dump this. And then I'll have Optic Barrage, Channeled Blast. We have to turn this on still, or is this just a passive? No, it's a turn on still. This is a passive, this is a passive, this is a passive. So we're all good. We can have our break out of jail free card. And that's basically it. Gearing wise, you know, I gear a little defensively, so I got Oculus Ouroboros, crazy artifact on Cyclops, lots and lots of health regen coming in. Dr. Octopus Metal. Now that we're back to this build, you know, it works well with Channel Blast, not so much with Optic Barrage. We should probably be doing like a Madam Hydra. Let me see what I got for metals here. Grim Reaper's not bad. Actually, I wonder if I have Cosmic hanging around and not being done with anything. How many times you fire a Mandarin is not a terrible choice either, all those procs, but it's more fluff. Shocker now does energy damage, but I got the old ones. I don't have any good ones there. Madam Hydra is going to be over here. What do I have for Madam Hydra? 26, 340. 345 damage rating. And some spirit when we kill things. Yep, I like that. It's a little bit low level for us, but that's okay. Adds a little bit of survivability. It's only 3 seconds, it's only every 40 seconds. Hopefully it's the right 3 seconds every 40 seconds with some spirit per kill. That'll back up the spirit per kill here, that'll back up the spirit per kill on him, and we should be able to channel blast all day long and not have to care about a thing. Obviously Optic Barrage is going to work a little differently, so this is going to buff up Optic Barrage too. And that's going to hit it. I got the Fearsome Fist of Farala. We're dodging a lot, and it's going to give a good chunk of crit for a little while. That'll help out, but it's also big and passive health regen. We don't have a lot. Even with the uniques, there's not a lot of passive health regen on there. So I got very little. So I'm using it for that. And obviously the Beta Particle Mineral Reactor for the spirit. And that's what's really going on there. As you can see, the crit will pay off pretty heavily at this level 50. Probably put me to somewhere around 25 to 30% crit pretty easily. Overkill Life, why not? Relic of Lemuria. Got the crit rating here. Intellect, don't even need it on this guy, but this was before the stat changed, so it was there. Life regen, like I said, not a lot of life regen, so I'm using the life regen aura. Critical damage, damage rating with range powers, obviously I'm using all range powers. Spirit is really key thing there in movement, and we're moving around. That's really it. I'm loving the uniques because there's so many pluses to all his good skills, and more pluses to his energy, his fighting, his crit rating there. And I got obviously the cosmic. This is alright. And we'll go do a terminal, show you into effect. This is going to be a crazy easy terminal. We'll do Kingpins. Let's go there. Remember to turn on our concussive force. Half the time I forget these things. Base melt. It's still a little buggy where the skill will pretend like it fired and stop firing and not fire at all. So if that happens, just lift your finger and fire again. As you can see, this melts blues fairly easily. This is green. basically start looking like Iron Man with the one of. And with his skill, he's a little bit different than the channeled skills of many other characters. Once you fire it, just leave the button down until everything's dead, because it's less spirit per second than it is to actually activate it. Even though he's got his bubble, I just left it up. He's got his bubble, I'm leaving it up. It costs nothing. Sometimes when you target a mob and fire it and kill it, it will stop firing. You have to refire it. That's another little buggy thing with these wiggle skills. Oh, finally a piece of loot. Let's see what level it is. Oh, it's actually higher level than me. The uniques are pretty awesome. A lot of uniques don't look as good as they really are. Gotta try them out. That's the Ricochet Blast going to work. And then, you know, this is going to be disgustingly easy. I stopped for 1 second, fired Ricochet Blast just to kill a Yad. As you can see, only once per second with the Ricochet Blast will I get... Oh, a Recon device, I needed that. Will I get Oculus Ouroboros? That's going to happen with any kind of proc, any kind of hit, or anything like that, except for the regular Maria. That's going to go off every hit. But all the other things are timed, like Mandarin's Metal. You're not going to get 8 shots at a proc a second. You're going to get 1 shot a second, and it's going to be timed that way. A lot of internal cooldowns go that way. But really, it's that easy. You're just looking to sustain. If it's a really high damage fight, you're obviously going to manually dodge. That's why you're going with a higher spirit pool, so you can get out of the way and then maintain the optic barrage again. And like I said, they start throwing stuff at you, you get a little bit dodgy. You don't want to like try to get hit by Dune's big blast, but his machine gun blast, you can get hit by a couple of those and dodge out of the way. Then you get your full spirit in seconds. But you know, be very, very careful with that one. And that's it. So that's Cyclops, the slim build, and he's definitely in a good place still. So hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you all later.